Here with Concordia head men's basketball coach Ben Limback to preview the 2020-21 basketball season, and not far away as we record this interview. I know making the national tournament last year was an important step for this program. How exactly have you maybe felt the impact of that achievement over the off season?
Yeah, I think there's a different sense of confidence within our team, just and an expectation to go along with that. I think just to have a large group back from last year, to get there, to go on the road and win that conference tournament, and then also just to see the national stage, I think is important, just with the amount of guys that we do have returning. So there's been a different I guess confidence level and knowing what to expect, but also I've been impressed with the hunger too, where it's not one of those mindsets where, oh, all right, we already did that. It's now what can we do different and what can we do better and take it to another level. So that's what I'm excited about for the upcoming season.
Mm-hmm. I know you had talked about being hungry to try to maybe get back to that point again. Do you sense that hunger comes from that taste of the national tournament, or is it something else maybe that's driving everybody?
Yeah, I think with COVID-19, I think not knowing what this year would look like, whether we would even have a season, whether we'd be able to play conference or even have a national tournament, and then you look at some fall sports where they shifted and just seeing the reschedules and whether or not teams can get enough games and stuff. So I think just now that it's becoming real, I feel like the sense of urgency, especially with our seniors, is a lot different. And there's certainly guys that maybe didn't play or a significant role or a large role last year, and now with departing seniors, we have some guys that now have that opportunity, and so I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how this new team shapes up.
Well, guys like Carter Kent and Justin Wiersma, they're not the young guys anymore.
Yeah.
Now that they basically have 2 years of starting experience. What have you noticed about how they've developed, not just physically but mentally, as they kind of become some of the leaders of this team?
Yeah, we kind of talked to them both about last year. They had the luxury of Brevin and Tanner kind of taking a lot of the attention oftentimes, but now they're going to be the marked men, and I think they're ready for that. I think they've both prepared physically for those moments, but as you mentioned, mentally and just the leadership side of things is what I've been impressed with, and both those guys are competitors. Both of them, I feel like, have added things to their game. But I think both of them understand the importance of their leadership and what it means to have some of your best players also the ones that are your hardest workers, and certainly those two guys lead by example, and they're starting to be more vocal as leaders.
Well, Carter, Justin, and Sam Scarpelli give you a lot of experience in the backcourt. They can all shoot the three too, and you had an offense that certainly was good on the perimeter last year. How do you see that dynamic playing out this season?
Yeah, I think our guard play will be very strong. That'll be the strength of our team. We will be, I think, pretty fast team. I think those three guys, especially because of the experience they've had. Sam has shown spurts last year, but this year he's been a lot more consistent. He's a very competitive guy as well, and I think he's been a key leader up to this point too. And so I think we'll have one of the better guard play tandems in the conference, and certainly guys off the bench too that will contribute and make it even better. So, but yeah, no, I think just those three will help continue that fast play, that offensive firepower that we want to see on our perimeter.
And talking a little bit about some of those guys that came off the bench last year, and maybe some of them are fighting to be in the starting lineup now, but what do you like about some of that returning mix with guys like Ryan Holt, Gage Smith, A.J. Watson, Clay Huhair, and Grant Rogge? A lot of those guys have played quite a few minutes too.
Yep. Yeah, no, we have a good group of I feel like returners that also got some experience where they're going to add to our lineup. I think just seeing the balance in practice already, there's an identity where it doesn't have to be one guy scoring 25 or 30. We can feasibly have 5 guys average double figures, maybe more depending on how things shake out. But I think certainly Ryan Holt, Gage Smith, they played a valuable role last year, and they'll be expected to play even more so. Guys like Clay Uhair looks really strong right now and is playing very confident. AJ Watson got some great time last year, was a big spark, and he's going to contribute as well, especially speed and pushing the tempo. And then you mentioned Grant Rogge. I think with him, he didn't get much of a chance last year, and he's healthy. He looks great. He's going to be one of the more athletic guys in the league at the guard position, and his versatility and his ability to defend are going to be extremely important to our team. And so, beyond that, we have Jackson Hirschfeld, who had a great year, with our JV program, and didn't see a lot of varsity minutes, but he's another guy that I think will be able to step in, and certainly other guys are competing for spots too.
Mm-hmm. And you graduated 3 starters. Certainly Tanner, Shuck, Brevin, Slope are tough to replace. Also hard to find somebody that has the type of skill set that Joe Bel had. How do you go about replacing him, and what does that kind of look like in the front court?
Yeah, that's actually our biggest question mark right now is the inside play, and our team knows it. We've been stressing rebounding and protecting the basket. It's a luxury to have a guy like Joe Bel that can erase a lot of mistakes. But it's interesting, when I spoke to the leaders on this team, what they wanted our identity to be about this year. Many of them mentioned how they felt like defense was something that we're going to be better at, and we need to hang our hats on. And I think we'll be better on the ball. I think we'll be faster rotating. I do think our rim protection will drop. But we have a freshman big, Corey Davila, that I think will provide some size inside. Tanner Wubbles didn't play much last year due to injury, and I think as he gets healthy, and then the other 3 that you mentioned, Biggs, Clay, and Gage, and Ryan too, I think are strong. Maybe not tall, but they play big. I think that's what we're really trying to focus on right now.
Maybe there's some room for some newcomers this year too. What do you like about the new class of guys that have come in?
Yeah, I love the way that they're getting along with the returners. I feel like there's some great character guys, and they understand the position, I guess, to learn from the older guys, but to compete with them. I feel like we're starting to see some of these freshmen start to compete in practice and not be so awestruck. Guys like Corey Davila, I feel like he's starting to settle in. I think he's got a chance to be real special. Braden Wiltsey as well, another guy out of Kansas City. He provides, he's actually a very good defender for a freshman, but he also shoots it really well. And then we got a couple other freshmen that are starting to come on that I feel like could crack into some things later on in the year perhaps. Drew Wheeler, really outstanding shooter. And then Noah Shutt had an outstanding high school career here in Nebraska. And he's starting to figure things out too, how to translate from high school to college. So really pumped about this freshman class. There's other guys that I feel like in this group that eventually will contribute at the varsity level once they get bigger, faster, stronger, and understand how to play.
You touched on it a little bit, what everybody's going through with dealing with the virus right now. How have your guys kind of embraced just some of the protocols and what they have to do to try to ensure that they get to have this season throughout the winter?
Yeah, no, I think that's the tough part. I feel like, in college, everybody thinks that maybe, they might not buy into all the masking and all the stuff that needs to happen. And we just talked about how we got to put our personal feelings aside, all of us, and really look at the big picture as to why we're doing this, and you know, masking up for somebody else, not just for yourself, following the traffic patterns or the protocols in place because of the importance of others in the season. So seeing the fall sports go through it, I certainly has helped. You know, seeing what they have to deal with reschedules and wearing masks, you know, on the bench or in practice or whatever needs to happen. And I think, you know, when you go through this test in life, you understand that whatever you're given, the opportunities, you gotta take them and be thankful for those. So certainly the reduction in schedule and the change in how we can practice, you know, with masks and all this stuff is hard. But I think we have to flip it and look at what we truly get and what we're blessed to have, and I know our guys are seeing that right now.
And I think maybe you've talked about this before. Winning a GPAC tournament was a huge accomplishment. I know the program would love to win it in the regular season as well. How much do you talk about just working towards a goal like that now too?
Yeah, I think you know, we talked about you got to see the big picture. You know, it's we did an activity where you try to put that puzzle together without seeing the cover, or the box, or the picture on the front, and it's a lot harder to piece that puzzle together. But when you see what picture, what puzzle looks like when it's finished, you know, you can start to figure out where you're placed at in that scheme of things. So. You know, we talk about it, but it's not something we talk about daily. I think the guys know that. You know, they're very aware of the tradition of success, but you know, some things that haven't been accomplished yet, and certainly that's one of them that they're understanding of, and certainly you know, it's something that you know, motivates, but not something that you talk about on a daily basis.